This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
and it's live.
Good evening, England. Good evening. That's a force of habit, isn't it? Good afternoon, good morning, good day. I'll cover all the bases wherever you're watching from. And then I can't be wrong, can I? Although my wife never agreed with me on that one. But anyway, there we go. How are we doing? 2 days without any football. Did we survive? Did we try and remember what our Netflix password was? Well, we're through, and I say we, that's the royal we as in England, although it might be a bit unlucky wearing this shirt, of course. But I'm going to enjoy it in a minute. Let me just tell you that, but we'll come on to that in a second. So this is Leicester Till I Die TV, and welcome along. Thanks for joining us, and it's the Euro Prediction Show.
It's the Euros 2020 with Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV.
Sorry, I was joining in there. So you can catch us live on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. We are on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, and in the old Twitter sphere, which is that one, at Leicester TID. Press, subscribe, follow, do it. If there's a button, press it for us. We would be forever grateful. We're nearly at the 4,000 hours in a year, so that's great news. We're just trying to build the subs up now. So remember, please, ladies and gentlefolk, that if you are watching this on YouTube, then give us a subscribe and press those buttons. So what's the show today? Well, we're going to be predicting or trying to predict the latter stages of the Euros. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. We didn't do very well. Didn't do very well at all in the first round. We only got 10 out of 49 correct, which is 30 points. So we've got to do better. As my teacher always used to say, you've got to do better. Now, a lot of people have said to me when I've been saying to them, why did you do so badly? Why? Well, it might just have something to do with this.
North Macedonia are going to win it. Get your bets on. You heard it here first. North Macedonia are going to wipe the floor of the tournament. Shock of the decade, shock of the century, you name it. You thought 5,000 to 1 was good odds. Well, listen to it. Get your bets in. North Macedonia to not just get out of the group, but they're going to win it. North Macedonia, come on.
What are you? Some kind of doomsday machine, boy!
I will always find a way to include that, Brad. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I can see it now. First game of the season, instead of talking about Leicester taking 3 points, it'd be, why did you pick North Macedonia?
Welcome along, Brad. We've got to do better. So I have decided to go for somebody who was knowledgeable, who had a great insight into European football. I couldn't find anybody, so we got a Man United fan instead. Good afternoon, Matt. How are you?
How you doing, Brad? How you doing, mate? You all good? Everyone cool?
Yeah, we're good, thanks.
Mate, good.
I just realised you were saying backstage there that you've got some Dutch blood in you.
Little bit, yeah, like distant, yeah, but also just the fan of like Van Basten and that era of Dutch football, with Ajax as well. Just incredible to watch as a young lad.
Yeah, well, I just realised that this wasn't planned because I didn't know that about you and your Dutch connection. Of course, this was the England shirt in the competition, and I think we beat Holland 4-1.
This wasn't the shirt of that competition, luckily. So, so that's cool.
And I joked about Scotland actually being so sad that they were cheering a 0-0 win, a 0-0 draw, sorry, although they thought it was a win against England. I'm going back to 1966 to actually get hold of something that's good for England. But
don't get me wrong, I am an England fan first. That's like that shirt will be out on Tuesday. Don't you worry about that.
Give your, because we did say you're a Man United fan, but we'll forgive you for that. give your channel a shout out. It is in the description below if you're watching on YouTube, but give us a shout out on it.
So it's Football United TV. We pretty much do a few shows on Arsenal, Man United, and we also do a show called Football United Airways where we travel all around the world, like discussing different leagues from different countries and trying to educate ourselves, let alone people watching. So I think it's a really good mix. So if you could go and check us out, that would be amazing. And thank you so much for letting us do that.
No, you're more than welcome. Like I say, I think I've got it in the description. If not, I will certainly be adding it afterwards. Hello to Ankit there, who couldn't join us today, but thanks to you. And this is Facebook users. As much as I'm an England fan, I would love to see Denmark win for Christian Eriksen. They are certainly in my top three, Denmark, and I do want them to stuff Wales. I mean, I'm going to ask you this as a Man United fan, because everybody's saying like, oh, if England don't do it, you should be supporting Wales, you should be supporting Scotland. It's like saying to you, well, Man United got knocked out of the Champions League. Did you want Manchester City to win? You don't, do you?
No, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It depends on how you feel. I don't think anyone is right on what they say. Like if you say like you have to support like the home nations or something, you don't have to necessarily. It depends on how passionate you are for your country and the football.
I mean, for me, I don't know if you'd agree with this, Brad. I've got three teams that when England play, it's not a friendly. If it's a friendly, it's just all out war. And that's Germany, Argentina and Scotland.
I mean, I know the reasons for Argentina being a threat, but I'd agree on the majority of that. Yeah, Scotland, Germany, definitely. Argentina, we don't really get them enough. And I don't know, I'd never really see England play them that much since the faithful 2000s when we seem to get them in there. It doesn't really vibe with me. I'm not really that bothered about them because the man who handled it is no longer there to wind it in our faces. Rest his soul and all that. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. No, maybe it's just me then. But last night, I must admit, on YouTube, and I couldn't, as you know, I have difficulty sleeping at night. It's about 3 a.m. I was watching Argentina 2, England 3, which was a friendly we played in Switzerland. And hey, it's just me. I just like to see England win, and we don't do it that often against these teams. Any Wales fans looking in today? We've got the Wales Massive in with us, so let's say hello to the Wales Massive there.
It's like the soccer AM bench, isn't it?
It is, yes. Come on, up Wales. Yeah, always have New Zealand sheep, never Welsh sheep. Welsh sheep comes with its own chicken Kiev filling, but we won't go into that. Right, so all on about predicting these games. Nobody's going to buy. No, it's my sole mission in life is to stop people buying Welsh lamb. Right, so guys, let's see where we go. Now we're going to go through these as they are on the UEFA site and see what we say. Like I say, if we do get a draw, I will be bringing in my mate, if I can just find him here, my mate Scott, who has kindly sent his details. So although I say he was part of the North Macedonia Massive, so whether I trust him or not is another matter. But let's start at the beginning, and we'll start with you, Matt. And to me, this is the tie of the round potentially for me. Belgium against Portugal.
It's a tough one, but I do think Portugal. I mean, they're looking amazing. I think at the moment, and I know that they are like vulnerable. They are definitely vulnerable. You saw that against France, but then I think all these top teams at the moment are vulnerable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And England to say have got the best chance they've ever had really to get through. I think to the quarterfinals. Germany was the best pick out of the group. Belgium facing Portugal. Belgium haven't done too badly. Lukaku's been on form. So, look, I see that maybe going into extra time, that one, to be honest. Can I say that?
Right. and penalties?
Possibly, yeah. But it depends on the, how well they do in the, extra time, pretty much. Because that really does defy whether a team's going to go on. You get a few people limping around, you know what I mean, getting the sore legs. Yes. So I don't know. It depends. Sometimes you see that when a team just comes out and they just dominate the other team because they see that they're tired and they can't run around anymore. So yeah, draw, and then I'd say Portugal to go through.
As an England fan, Matt, penalties or golden goal, which do you think is a better option?
Penalties.
Really?
Remember the golden? Do you remember the golden goal? It was just a bit flat. Like you were just like, really? That's it. That's it, all done. And then people didn't know whether to celebrate or not. I don't know. It was weird.
What was worse, the golden goal or the silver goal? Do you remember that tripe?
Yeah, the silver goal. What was all that about again?
That was like if you scored in the first half of extra time and didn't concede, the game ended at half time in extra time. If the opposition didn't level, that was it. It was so weird. It was so random. I hate golden goal. And
I believe you if you're playing extra time, it's 30 minutes. You've got 30 minutes. You can change that around. If you go 1-0 down, you can change that around to 2-1. We've seen that before. Like that's the beauty of football as well. We don't want to take that out. And plus, we're getting more football if we have penalties, aren't we? And that nail biting moments. And I think that'd be a shame if we lost that in football.
I think it's fun to watch when it's not England.
Hang on, we won the last penalty shootout we was in against Colombia, right?
This is true. This is very true. But that doesn't really count for the 40 that we lost before. So you're going for Portugal, Brad. Portugal struggled against Germany. Belgium, they got through. They were top of the group, etc. But how do you see this one going?
I'm in agreement with Matt in the sense that I think this is going to have a goal glut in it. Belgium and Portugal are both showing that they can score a lot of goals, but they're susceptible to conceding. For me, though, the biggest difference between Portugal and Belgium is, and I understand why, but the focus and more rightly so, this tournament has been on Ronaldo than it has been Portugal as a collective. And the problem is when you're such a world-class phenomenon talent that Cristiano Ronaldo is, if he has a game that is an average performance in Ronaldo standards, it might be a struggle for the rest to pull a shift in to do that job. I agree. I think it's going to go the distance. But to put a winner on it, it's going down to the judge's decision because I'm backing Belgium to head this because I just think this is where Ronaldo can't pull Portugal over the line on his own.
Oh,
I'm going with Belgium.
You're going with Belgium. Well, like you say, I'm quite happy that I am not the judge this time. So we'll just see if I can get it up here. Scotland has gone. Scotland. That's just
you were right. Scotland have gone. You were right. Scotland have gone.
Yeah, I should have just left it at that, shouldn't I? Scotland have gone. It's coming home, Scotland. Well, certainly your team is. You can never get. Can you, Matt? You can never kick Scotland too much when they're down.
No, and the fact that they were coming out going, "Oh, come on, give us a break. We're a small country." I'm like, what about Wales?
Yes, yeah.
And then they
I
go,
just love the fact that they. Do you remember the headlines when I think the USA and England drew in a game, and the American headlines were that the USA had won 1-1 or something like that, and I think that's how the Scots felt when they got the 0-0 draw with us. But there we go. So, well, Portugal or Belgium, we've got to get him in here, Scott. What have you gone for? Well, he went for Belgium. So sorry, Matt, but he who must be obeyed in Scott has gone for Belgium.
it's fine. Just remember though, Portugal did win the competition last time, so I never put them off. But yeah, good pick.
No, I think I can say, to me, that is definitely the game of the round, to be honest with you. But then again, how often do you look at these games thinking these are going to be really, really classic games, and they're not, you know? Right. So the next one, Matt. My favourites for the team I think is going to win it, Italy up against Austria.
It's an easy win for Italy. I mean, I think Italy and England are the only two teams that haven't conceded any goals, so they're looking very strong at the back. But the difference between them and England is their attack's strong as well, and they're scoring the goals to show that they're doing it. All right, it was 1 against Wales, but they dominated Wales throughout that whole game, even with the 11 men. So, yeah, it's an easy win for Italy. I reckon about 2 or 3-0 on that one.
I mean, they were already through, I think, when they played Wales, so they just were almost going through the motions, Brad.
Yeah, they were, and you'd like to say there's going to be an upset down there, but the North Macedonia blowing that for me, and Hungary couldn't manage it, so I'll give up on shock. So don't worry, I'm not going to cause you an heart attack here. Italy will cruise this. They'll cruise this, and it'll be a 3-4, could even be a 5-0. I hate. Sorry if there's any Austria fans watching. I just have to 100% agree with everything that Matt has said and what you said, Chris. Italy have to be the favourites for this tournament on showing, and I just think this is going to be one of them where they cruise it. It might even be over before the half hour, before the first half is over.
Yes.
Italy all the way. And they still won't concede by this point.
And I think Austria, in fairness, were probably the surprise package in there because, you know, for me, I could see from that group Netherlands and Ukraine. I know they sort of kept your favourites, North Macedonia, out, Brad, but you know,
I forgot about that. 10-0 Italy. Come on.
And don't let that stop you ever sort of going for the underdog at all. But I think we both agreed on that one, Italy and Belgium. Another team that doesn't look too unhealthy at all, Matt, and that's France.
Yeah, well, you know what? Actually, they're looking good, but they're not looking as good as they have been in recent years, especially when they won the World Cup. So I still think they're a bit vulnerable at the back. But their attack's so amazing. I mean, Mbappe's killing it, isn't he? You know,
Yes.
He's an exceptional talent, and I think he'll be the sort of player to bring in the magic, you know, when you really need it. So even if France do struggle, like to beat teams like Switzerland and co, he'll be the sort of player that they need, and maybe Griezmann as well. Pogba's having a brilliant tournament as well. So an easy win for France, though. Yeah. I'd say 2-0, but maybe 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Brad. Yeah, sorry, thank you, Matt. Brad, any team that's topped that group of death, you've got to say you've got to be wary of, haven't you?
Yeah, but they all, like we discussed on our review show previously, Chris. They all showed signs of, you know, they're susceptible. You know, that was a hard group for them three, because as much as they were all virtually guaranteed qualification before a ball was kicked statistically and on paper and expectations, they were fighting for first and they were fighting for second. They didn't, you know, they were fighting to get to show their mettle and try and get for their group as unscathed. And then there was some, when them three all met, collectively, in their games, it was very high paced, lots of goals, lots of energy. It's not always easy to take that into a game when you get an opposition like Switzerland. I think if they were playing someone a bit tougher, no disrespect to Switzerland, but I think if they were playing maybe Denmark, Wales, this would be a tougher game, and I probably wouldn't actually. I'd probably say this would where I'd go for my potential to be an upset. I think this will be a bit of a lackluster 1-0 win, actually. I think this is where the doubts will creep in on people back in France to go and win it, and this will be like a scrappy 1-0 win where they get a late goal. And this will be like...
That's for France, yes?
Yes. Yeah, I am going with France, but I think it'll be... I think it'll be close. I think this will be like the tie that is a bit lackluster, a bit underwhelming for its performance.
Yeah, and in fairness, Scott has gone for France as well. He also went for Italy in the game before, so he's agreeing with you on those. Back to you, Matt, and another potentially good game here: Croatia-Spain.
Yeah, Croatia are amazing against Scotland, weren't they? To be fair, that Modric goal, my lord, what a beautiful goal that was from outside of the boot, right?
Yeah,
remarkable. So yeah, look, but they didn't do very well at the start, so I don't think they've got the team to beat Spain. But then yet again, like I've said, so many of these big teams or used to be big teams are not doing so well. So it could be a battle. This one again, I think, could go into extra time. It could be one of those 0-0s right to the very end. Yeah, it's gonna. I think a draw, and then Spain go through maybe.
Yeah,
I just think they'd be better at penalties if it went to that.
I mean, Matt. I mean, it was only sort of 3 years ago. Croatia were, going for the World Cup, and we're in the final. This is possibly their last chance because you have to say, whilst there's no one-man team, we know, for example, Ronaldo carries Portugal. We know, and I think Modric to some degree carries Croatia. I just wonder how long he's going to be going on for, and whether they'll be wheeling him out in a wheelchair in 4 years' time for the next competition. But
I think he'll carry it on. But I think Modric is that sort of player where he can't do it every single game. That's why you only saw it against Scotland, and they really needed it then, and he just managed to dig something out there and get them the win, and then obviously they got another goal. Yeah, he's just one of those players. He will continue, I think. Like, he's underrated.
Matt, Modric, one-man team, Croatia?
Yeah.
Brad, sorry. Sorry,
I was like, yeah, I've already said that.
Yeah, sorry, Matt. Sorry. I'm easily confused. More than one person and I talk to, and I get completely confused. Don't I, Gladys? The one-man team, Brad?
It's a bit harsh. They do have some players. It's easy to see why, because he's probably top of the list of quality there. But they've got, they've got Perisic, who we know, and Scotland very know, funnily. They've got a few good players in there. But I think Croatia were counting their blessings that their last game was against Scotland and no one harder. Because if that was anyone harder, Croatia wouldn't be in there. We wouldn't be talking about Croatia. Spain have flattered to deceive, but whether it's Slovakia, whether it was Russia, whether it was Czech Republic, it wouldn't matter. They got a very comprehensive win, and Spain normally turn it on when they get a result like that. And I honestly don't think this is going to go distance. I think a tired, aging Croatia showed against us and against the Czech Republic that they maybe should have changed things up a bit. They should have got some fresher players in. They should have maybe not put all their chips in on Modric and Perisic and a few others to get them through the tournament, because you're just not going to win it. You're not going to go far in it. And I actually think Spain are going to win this comfortably. I think it's going to be like a 3-0 to Spain.
Ooh. Oh, so a 1-0 and a 3-0 to Spain. Going to quickly say hello here to Mike Green, who's probably at the moment sat on the toilet because he's a Welsh fan, and I know he's going to get pretty excited, and they're kicking off the next round. Mike wouldn't come on camera very much last night because he's just had a haircut, and he's not overly pleased with the haircut, but you know, we did get a group video with him, as you know. And Mike, although I'm not sure whether one of those is Mike or Mike is actually behind one of those, if you know what I mean. Let us know, Mike. Let us know. Are you hiding behind Mike? Come on, you knew you were going to get. Just a
little bit of quick news, Chris, for you, just to break to anyone who's watching. Sky Sports have announced that Rafa Benitez is set to be named Everton manager by next week. So at least one club can get a manager in.
Hashtag Spurs.
Hashtag Spurs. That's how you get a manager in. So yeah, that's just broken my notifications from Sky Sports. Rafa Benitez is set to be announced as Everton boss by next week. So if any Everton fans are tuning in, watching our Euros, comment.
It'd be interesting because of his Liverpool connection, but you know,
yeah, but he also managed Chelsea, didn't he? He also interned for Chelsea. Yes. He doesn't seem to faze him. He just seems to like football, and that's something. He's always been an admirer of England. Even when he made the move to China, he wanted to come back to England. So I think he's a good manager. If anyone's watching, if you're an Everton fan or not, let us know in the comments what you think to that. Are you happy, or would you prefer to still be doing your shop at like supermarket sweets with Spurs?
Well, I like Rafa, to be honest with you. But and I think there'll be a fair few Newcastle fans that are sort of maybe crying into their frosties this morning. You know, they would have had him back. Box, it's a good question. Brad's still supporting North Macedonia. Brad, he's waiting for the fact that, unlike Brexit, there's going to be a recount and that North Macedonia are going to go through. But
I'm still waiting for some dodgy players to be named in the side and then realise that the North Macedonia got conned. It's still going to happen, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, not a bit unlike Derby. You know, we don't know.
Yeah, unlike Derby.
Yes. Okay, Matt, let us move on. I think with Scott went for Spain as well there. So probably a more difficult one, and probably the most difficult one to call for me, and Sweden, Ukraine.
Do you know what? Actually, this is very easy for me. I said Sweden were underrated before the whole tournament started. I think it's an easy win for Sweden. I think like maybe a 2-0, maybe 3-0.
Right.
They're just amazing, to be fair, without like Ibrahimovic, who got that injury and couldn't make it. I know he returned to international football, but obviously won't be now. But they've got to rely on their youth, and that they have done so far. Is it what's his name up front?
Mike will know. Mike Green, he is a font of all knowledge when it comes to players.
I keep getting mixed up with him. But yeah, the attacker for Sweden is amazing. The young lad, yeah.
I mean, you know, again, Brad, it surprised me Sweden actually topping that group over Spain, but there's always a surprise. Maybe Sweden are the surprise this year.
No, not for me. I don't think they were. I think they were expected to go through. To my knowledge, Spain tend to come first or second in their group. They tend to be happy to go through because they've got a very good record. They did that, especially through the two. There goes my classic clock. That's my interruption bell. Right, it's to go off on the hour. Forgot that was going to go off and it made me jump.
We always know Brad's alive and when his clock goes off.
But now I could be shut up. I'm speaking. Hurry up. Get your music.
Can you not throw it out the window?
No, because it's not mine. I get shot live on camera. I get shot live on camera if I did that, mate. No, I always get. I don't know how I get them confused, but I know that if I'm right thinking, Ukraine are managed by Andrei Shevchenko. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. There's something about that. When a team's managed, when a national side's managed by a player like that, of that caliber, and you remember how good, apart from his time at Chelsea, how good of a player, an influencer Andrei Shevchenko was in his AC Milan days. And I can see, you know, when Wales got to the semi-finals of the Euros, and then South Korea, got to the World Cup in 2022, whether it was dodgy refereeing decisions, that's up to you to decide. But they got to the semi-finals. So I'm either going to jinx them or I'm finally going to get it right third time's a charm. And I'm going to say the Ukraine have this one against Sweden. I think this is where they get their shock in and they go further than intended in the tournament. Because I think these two clubs, these two national sides probably got to this point and we're going, brilliant, we got out of the group, we've had a good tournament. If we go any further, it's an absolute bonus. And now they've got each other. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think this will be the one where they won't want to give too much away because, you know, I don't think they're going to go all out attacking because they think if they can nick the lead, either of them, they'll fancy the chances of holding it out instead of going at it. But I think
Ukraine are the one of the third place qualifiers, so they sneaked in. So it's a Scott decision here then as to which way we're going to go on this one.
Never listen to a Scott.
You only said that because he's not here. Sweden, Ukraine. Which one did Scott go for? It's like I do feel a bit like Jeremy Clarkson. Shall we ask the audience? And it's Sweden. And in fairness, I've got to be honest with you, I would have probably gone Sweden as well. Sweden as well.
You're useless. Get out while you wait for my next one. You wait till the last one.
It is the guy that picked North Macedonia to win the whole thing says we're useless. I think not. Right.
Sorry, out loud.
Matt, the big one.
This is the biggest one for me. This is the biggest one, right?
Yes.
No?
I mean, you know, the last time that we played Germany not in a friendly, in a proper tournament competition was in South Africa in 2010 when we had that famous goal disallowed. Germany 4, England 1. And we've played 32 times. It's actually quite even, 13-15 with 4 draws. Revenge could be on the cards, do you think, Matt?
I think so. I think it's the best chance that England have got. I mean, looking at that group, the group of death, we could have been playing France or Portugal. And to be fair, I think Germany are the ones that are looking very vulnerable at the moment. They only just scraped through for a 2-2 against Hungary. So I can see England winning it, to be fair. I can. But you just never know. We've got some sort of curse against Germany. They always knock us out in these stages. We can only do like exceptional wins over Germany when it's like qualifying for a World Cup or whatever, and you know, like was it 5-1 in Germany in their own backyard? That'd be nice to see that sort of performance, but it's going to be one of those probably that goes into extra time again, I think, honestly. But I do think
please don't say penalties.
I hope not. England, I mean, we've got a really good bench. I know Germany have got a really good squad too, but I can see us rotating it and still keeping the attack on, especially when we need it. And we need to up the tempo, I think, now. So, come on, England.
Yes, come on. Exactly. Mike is feeling a little bit sheepish here when he says this. 9-0 Germany.
That's 9-0 England,
we're coming to Wales in a minute, Mike, so hold on. We might get our own back on that one. Box is saying England 3, Germany 2. And I mean, we're going back a bit here, aren't we, Box? We beat Germany in 66 when it mattered. I mean, 50 years of hurt or whatever it is now.
Hey,
Can we do it, Brad?
Mate, if there was VAR.
Yeah. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Sorry.
We love a Russian linesman. Brad, can we do it? I mean, if you say penalties, I'm never talking to you again.
You know what? This is for Lampard. This is for Southgate in that penalty shootout, that infamous. This is for all the times they've hurt us, just because they couldn't, understand that that goal crossed the line in 66. Right? They've had their way against us so many times in these major tournaments. This is where we absolutely tank them. This is where because let me tell you this, right? Everybody was saying that Germany this, Germany that, they're in our group. We were looking at this one, and I fancied Germany. They were 6 minutes away from finishing bottom in the group for the second tournament in a row. They got knocked out by South Korea in the World Cup, didn't they, in the last one, in 2018? And they were 6 minutes away from getting knocked out by Hungary. And just as Bob's put there, they even got beat by North Macedonia. North Macedonia, that's where I got my own from, Chris. They beat the Germans. Shows how crap the Germans are. England 4-0. Come on, let's have it.
Wow.
Sod the Germans, like the Scots, sod a lot of them. Let's absolutely go out and batter them. 4-0.
Brad, you're thinking with your heart there, clearly.
Yes, I am, mate. It's a German. Sod them, screw them. They've done us enough damage. 4-0. Get out of the tournament. You arse-sniffing German. What coach thinks he can manage someone when he puts his hands on his pants and sniffs his fingers? I want to know what he's eating if he has to sniff his rear end when he scratches it. Send him home.
Brad does do these rants every now and again, by the way, Matt.
It's my pills, they balance me out.
I mean, we did literally, Matt, on that last day, we were playing everybody in that group at some point during the 90 minutes.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? And Portugal, same, isn't it? Obviously, as well. They were like, "Who we bloody playing? We could be playing anybody."
The worst thing was there was probably England fans there going, "We'll probably get to penalties against Portugal. We'll probably go to penalties against France. We'll probably go to penalties against Germany. And now it don't matter who we get. We'll probably think dreading penalties." So,
well, we like that, unfortunately, aren't we? We are like that. It seems that we can never seem to comfortably win these knockout games, and that's the problem that we've had in recent years. And I just hope with the squad that we've got, we can go and kill a game when we need to.
Indeed. Well, we are now we've gone for England basically there then, and I think
I tell you what, you tell me that Scott went for Germany. Don't have him on the show again.
I've forgotten about Scott. Let's have a look. Bless him, Scott. I'll go for England, but very cautious as Germany are a real threat and grow in the tournament. They do grow in the tournaments, but, you know, they struggled against a Hungary side not long after they demolished the Portugal side. And I think if it wasn't going to be Hungary, it was going to be one of the other three. For me, and I don't know if you two guys agree with me, you know, France, Germany, Portugal, Germany would have been the one that I would have gone for.
Yeah, definitely. They failed in the last tournament. They got beat by a certain Macedonian side that couldn't get a point in a group, and they nearly went out, like you said, to Hungary 6 minutes away from coming bottom in another group. They're not the team they used to be.
There's always something as well about teams that play at home in the finals that don't win it, and then they go on to win it the year after. So you look at Portugal, they lost it, didn't they, in their backyard to Greece, didn't they, years ago? Then they beat France in their backyard last time. It's their little thing going on there as well that I've always thought about, the fact that a lot of people have always been beaten in their backyard when they've hosted the final. So hopefully England break that curse as well, and let's not make that happen again.
No. So the next one is, having comfortably put England through, well done, guys, Netherlands versus the Czech Republic.
The boys in orange, mate. The boys in orange. I mean, Czech Republic have been great, though. Don't get me wrong. Schick looks amazing as well. Like some of the goals he scored, that lob against Scotland. You know what I mean? They're definitely able to do some damage if they want to. And I think, again, another team that's underrated. People don't know a lot about them, but they've got some decent talent in their squad. They really have, and that's the whole thing. I think they can do damage. So Netherlands have got to be weary, but again, Holland have been great in attack. A tiny bit vulnerable at back. They haven't got Van Dijk, have they? So it's not like they've got the perfect defense. But Holland for me, I reckon 3-1.
Brad, Netherlands played 3, won 3, 8 goals for, 2 against, 9 points. They've got to be in with a chance of the whole thing, haven't they?
You say that, but Holland are always that team that make you scratch your head because they have had some of the best teams. But they are the team in these sort of tournaments that sometimes they turn up and you look at their squad on paper and you always think, how did that squad not win something?
Yeah.
How did that team not win a major trophy the closest I remember them getting, and I'm sure you will correct me, Matt, but the closest I remember them getting was when they got to the final and lost to Spain. It's been a while before then that the Netherlands have got anywhere near to a final, to my knowledge.
88, wasn't it? They won.
Yeah. So, 88, and since then, to my knowledge, apart from that Spain game in the final of that year, they haven't got anywhere near it. In fact, they're quite susceptible to going out at this stage in the tournament.
They got to the semis in 1998, was it? I believe.
I don't.
I'm going to show my age here, and I can't remember who won it, but Netherlands played Argentina in the final. And I think it was in Argentina, so I'm guessing Argentina won it. But they got
78, that was 1978.
Yeah.
But we're a long way since the 88 and 78s, and the Netherlands that I grew up have always managed to be close but no cigar. And I already looked at these draws when you asked me to come on the show, Chris, and I'm going to stick to what I said. I think Netherlands are going to be one of them teams where you just go, how has that team gone out? And honestly, no disrespect to you, Matt. It's nothing against the Netherlands. I think they're a quality side. I've always admired them. But I think this is the slight upset because the Czech Republic are no pushovers. They've done really well. They deserve to be through. More deserving than Croatia and Scotland, right? Definitely deserve to be in the group and out of it. And I think they will beat Holland. And I think this will be penalties. I can say it now because it's not England, but I think this will be the shot that goes all the way and you fall at that hurdle in penalties. And I'm back in the Czech Republic. I'm sure Scott won't agree with me, but I think this is the one where you just see that big team go out and you kind of go, wow, did not see that coming.
If we win like 3 or 4-0, can you then continue to follow Netherlands until they play England?
Yeah, mate, fine, yeah, I will do. That's fine with me. I'll do that.
Now, so we've got Netherlands, one person going for them. Czech Republic, one person going for them. I mean, if it was me, I would be going Netherlands. I've got to be honest with you, and that's not just because Matt's here being with his orange shirt on. It would be my choice.
Yeah,
but of course, it's down to
they are the favourites.
Yeah, it's down to the man Scott, and what he has gone for. There we go, Scott. But then again, like I said, we have got to remember in all this that Scott did also agree with North Macedonia with Brad, but he has gone for the Czech Republic. I'm sorry, Matt. He thinks it's going to be an upset
Scott,
as well.
You know what? Whatever I said about Scott, I didn't mean it. He's a good lad, Scott. It's all right. You can say it.
The Leicester Massive sticking together there. But
honestly, you are the strong favourites, but I've just got a gut feeling, and I did a bit of research through the history from my time, and the Netherlands are the only one that really stand out like a sore thumb that tend to struggle to kind of get past this sort of round. It's the only reason I've backed you because, I like an underdog, clearly. So this is the one I kind of picked before.
Now then, we are down to a very interesting game.
No need to ask me, mate. I'm telling you who's winning this.
Mike says get in. Easy place in the semis then. Now, I know that we saw Scotland. I know we saw Scotland celebrating a 0-0. Wales apparently, because they can't be there because of the COVID situation, have actually recorded their victory celebrations. I wasn't able to get hold of a copy of that video, but I did manage to get hold of a copy of the video of the Wales team commiserating in case they lost.
God.
I mean, Wales stroke Lemmings, I'm afraid there. Yeah, there they all go. And that's about the size. Mike's going to come and say something now, I know. We've got Rich as well. Rich, now he's a Wales fan. Did you see that, Rich? That was just for you. Hi, mate. Of course, Matt is going to go 1-0. Mike, sorry, is going to go 1-0 to Wales. Matt, Wales or are we going to go with Denmark? It's the battle of the Leicester keepers as well. Let's not forget, as Leicester fans here, I like Denmark because we've got Schmeichel. Wales have got Danny Ward in goal. So it is the battle of the Leicester goalkeepers here. I think most neutrals are going to be Denmark, aren't they, Matt?
I think so, yeah. And that's not really a contest between the two goalkeepers, really. We all know Schmeichel is like head and shoulders above the other guy. Denmark, for me, 3-0, easy win. I think Wales have been lucky to get through, really, to be fair. Same sort of job as England, pretty much, apart from losing and letting in more goals. But I don't see Wales doing very well. I know, right, but I don't see him doing very well. The fact that the fans ain't there either, I think that puts them off a little bit. But they like being the underdogs, Wales, so never put them off. I mean, you saw what they did last time round, you know what I mean, beating Belgium. They can have their moments. So, but I think the Danes are well up for it. I think losing Eriksson as well, as you've seen the team structure themselves, and they're playing more together. So, yeah, Denmark for me, 3-0. Sorry, Mike.
Oh, now Mike actually says here, in fairness, he says, those jokes were funny once. No, Matt, they still are. If you're not a Wales fan, they still are, and they still always will be. I mean, the ones that day was like.
They've never been funny to Welsh people, have they? They never will be.
No. I mean, there was, of course, the adverts for sort of, real coal, come home to a real fire, buy a Welsh holiday home. But that is going back a little bit. But Denmark for you, Matt, Brad?
Chris, I've got a question for you. Here's my question, because you're going to answer it whether you say yes or no anyway. By the time this game's finished, what will Wales and Scotland have in common?
Both be going home?
They'll both be back to put the bins out. It's going to be a Denmark kicking. Come on. I'm with you, Matt. 3-0. Put them in. Go on, Denmark. I'll go. Next round.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry to Mike. I'm sorry to Rich, but you'd be doing exactly the same if you was predicting it and you was trying to say about England, because I'm sure you're back in Germany to beat us. So sods yous. I don't care that you're part of Great Britain. Off you go. Kasper Schmeichel, get yourself in the next round. Danny Ward, get yourself back to Belvoir Drive, mate. He's better there than Wales anyway.
If he goes back to Belvoir Drive, he'll be playing with the ladies, won't he?
Well, he probably will, but he probably need that love and attention after that.
Okay. I mean, at least I had Reese on last night, who's a Scottish fan, and at least he doesn't hide his hatred for England, and I get that totally. Like I said to you at the start, Matt, Man United fans don't want, Man City Man City to do well, and vice versa. And basically, I don't know. I think I hate Scotland more. I do hate Scotland more. I mean, I think we should rebuild Hadrian's Wall and stop them coming down. But then maybe we should destroy the bridge over to Wales and stop them coming over as well.
You sound like Donald Trump now.
It's going to put a wall. It's going to put a wall.
Make the Scots pay for it as well. Let's make the Scots pay for it. I'm all for getting rid of Scotland and like Wales. What do Wales bring to the party?
Jail for their manager. That's what they bring.
Oh, allegedly.
And a little bit of Welsh rarebit. We all like a bit of Welsh rarebit.
It's nice to have a Welsh person on. Can I just say, in fairness to them, and they do take it on the chin and they do give it back. Gonna say, Rich Sports, follow him on YouTube. It's a great channel, Rich Sports. It's well worth a follow, and even Mike Green. And that's on YouTube as well as Mike Green. So easy to remember, Mike Green and Rich Sports. Give them both a follow and subscribe on YouTube. Great guys, both of them. It's banter, and they love a bit of banter. Now, and just say, is this a Brexit channel now? Yeah, I'm all for that. No, not a Brexit channel, just to get rid of Scotland channel. Brad was trying to say top 4 Dodger Rogers was better than Ranieri, though.
Hey, I think you'll find that my argument was good enough to get a split decision in the votes there, Rich. And at least Dodger Roger knows what it's like to lift an important final, mate.
Yeah,
just remind
Rich. I have to say, Matt. Rich, by the way, is a Man United fan as well for his sins. So
yeah, I know, Rich. Big up, Rich.
You know, Rich.
He's a good lad, Rich. He is a good lad. It's all in jest what I'm saying to these guys.
And of course, I mean, being a Welsh fan, of course, he lives in England. But then, would you want to live in Wales? Let's be honest with you. But anyway, so we're going for Denmark there. Wales are going out. Go on, one more time then. One more time, Brad. Let's go for it. Denmark?
Denmark?
Yeah, you're going to give them a shout out?
Oh, no, because that'll cross the dreams if it all backfires. I jinx North Macedonia. I'm not doing it, Denmark. No.
Right, so we're through to the next round, and I must say it's very good of UEFA to give us all a second chance of getting it right, so we can tell this isn't the Brexit channel, Rich, because that was a one-off vote and we're never going to have another vote on it, where here UEFA are giving us a chance to forget how badly Brad did in the first prediction. So Matt, Belgium against Italy, quarterfinals. That's going to be a good game.
Who would win that? Oh, I don't know. This is difficult because then you don't know what's going to happen, do you?
No. I'll tell you what, whoever gets through from that one, I know we've predicted Belgium, but whoever gets through from that one, they ain't got it easy if they're going to make the final, have they? Jesus, I've just looked at the rest of the tree. That's a hard one.
A lot of people have said this is the hard side to the group.
I'm going to say Italy again on that one.
I mean, they both won all 3 games. Italy, and they both scored 7 goals, would you believe? And the only difference is that Belgium conceded 1.
It's just difficult, isn't it? Because they got that game in between, and it's just like I don't know what to say because I'm only going from the last game. I don't know. I'd say Italy. Yeah.
You're going for Italy. I'm glad I'm not having to decide any of these, and certainly not this one, Brad. And I know we went for Belgium in the first round to go all the way. Are you? In the first prediction, are you sticking with that?
I am. Funny enough, because although I can see Belgium having a tough game, I think if they can get through Portugal, they know what it's like to concede a goal, and they've shown the mantra to still win a game when they've conceded or not collapse and concede any more once they've conceded a 1. The thing is with Italy, the longer they go without conceding, you're always going to have it in the back of the mind. How are they going to handle if they concede, and not just concede, but they go 1-0 down? Because Belgium are a decent side, they can hold this out, and I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say Belgium sneak this one. I'm going to say this is where Belgium get a goal in the second half, and Italy can't break them down, and Belgium go for it.
I mean, we all went for Belgium, like I say, in the first prediction, and we got Belgium going all the way and winning it.
I said Portugal. That's why this is difficult for me because I
Sorry, I meant on the Leicester one. We went. Sorry, when we did the predictions for the groups, we did this again, and we took Belgium all the way.
Right.
That said, I've been impressed with Italy. I really have. And I'm glad I don't have to make this decision because I'd probably have to say, well, I went for Belgium first, so I'm going to go for Belgium. So we are going to go to the audience and we're going to ask Scott. And Scott has gone for... And I need some dramatic music here. He's gone for Italy, so we're putting Italy through. And can I just say, sorry, because Mike's still with us, Scott actually went to Wales. He went for Wales. So I forgot to mention that. So Scott went for Wales, but it didn't matter because the rest of us went for Denmark. So there you go. The next one then, Matt, which is France, Spain.
So yeah, I picked both of them. So that's difficult. France, I'd say France. I mean, like I say, it's difficult to say because it's a jump of a game, but yeah, France for me.
France. They're always tasty, the games between these two. Brad?
They are. They're
Yeah.
great. They're two great nations, aren't they? They're really two great footballing nations. They've won quite a lot in the past 10, 15 years. So
Yeah, they are. And to be honest with you, the only way I can really go through this tournament is going off what in my own personal gut feeling, what I think is going to happen in the games before. And I think France are going to struggle and just get past Switzerland. And I think Spain are going to come off the back of scoring quite a lot of goals in their last qualifier and against Croatia. And I think that will take them through. I think we've seen France are very susceptible to score. And I think this might be a game where everybody's really shocked that France just capitulate and fall apart. I think this will be Spain that go through. I think I would personally say Spain to go through.
Do you think Spain are on the wane, though?
Yeah, but the problem is the way you have to try and do this prediction for this. Like I said, is in my opinion, Spain play Croatia off the back of a 5-0, and Croatia are playing it off beating Scotland, which anyone can pretty much do. And I think if you go off the results that I feel are going to happen in the round before, I feel France will be a bit more nervous. They'll try and be a bit too defensive and try and shore it out. And if Spain get into them early, France have no choice to come at us. And while they have Spain, while they have the firepower to do that, I think if that's the way the game plans out, I see Spain going through. If what I've predicted beforehand happens, that's why I'm picking Spain over France.
And Matt, just remind me who you went for, Matt.
I went for France. Yeah,
France. So we're down to the guru of Scott again. I tell you what, he's more involved in this and he's not even here. And, so, who did he go for? France. So now that Wales are out of this half of the tournament, a replay of the World Cup 3 years ago, Matt.
Yeah, and I think it would be another comfortable victory for England against Sweden again. I know Sweden have been doing very well, but if England get through against Germany, then it's all theirs to play for to get to that final. So England, for me, comfortable win.
Brad, do you agree? Are we going all the way? Well, we're going to the semis.
Looking at how we have predicted it to go, I'm going to say this now. If it's the Ukraine, I'm going to use that curses word and say that England go to penalties against the Ukraine, and I wouldn't like to pick how that turns out. But I have to agree with Matt on this. If it's Sweden, we go through. I don't think it'd be comfortable, but I still think we go through. Against Ukraine, I'd be more worried about the Ukraine, which is why I originally put them through. But obviously, the deciding vote went with Sweden. If it was the Ukraine, I'd be concerned and maybe saying that's the game on. But yeah. England against Sweden.
So England having a semi, we all know how that feels, don't we, Brad? So Box is agreeing with it there. I don't know Matt well enough to accuse him of that just yet. And who are we going to be playing? The Czech Republic again or Denmark, Matt? And I'm sorry, again, Scott went for England again, by the way. Sorry.
I'm going to have to say Denmark because I went for Denmark and I went for Netherlands, didn't I? So, yeah, it'd be Denmark for me. I'd say Denmark through that. And I know that if the Republic did beat the Netherlands, then I'd probably say Czech Republic. It's a difficult one. Yeah, Denmark for me if that does happen.
And Brad?
Unfortunately, I think this is where the steam runs out on Denmark. I think they will put all their effort into making sure they demolish Wales. They put all their effort into the last game to go through. And unfortunately, due to all the circumstances and everything they've gone in, they've put their hearts, their everything, they put their guts, their soul, and everything to make sure they got out that group and did Christian proud and did their nation proud, and they've done that. And once they tackle small fry in the round of 16, I think it will be back again. Czech is back for the English, because I think we'll be facing our group side in Czech Republic. I don't want to say it. My heart wants Denmark, but my head logic says it's going to be the Czech. I just see that's how it's going to play out.
Now, this is going to be interesting because, of course, Scott had gone for Wales, so he hasn't even got Denmark in there. So it actually now does come down to phoning a friend, which happens to be me. And I can see... I can see what you're saying, because I think, Denmark are going to be playing this on adrenaline every time they go out. Unfortunately, you don't want to remember it, but it will be remembered as this one. And but it wouldn't. I can see the Czech Republic. I can see us playing them again, because literally, we've done that before. And we end up playing somebody in the same group. I think Denmark are coming strong. I mean, that first game, you can't take that result as meaning anything, because that game shouldn't have been played then. It should have been put off. Even if it was only 24 hours, it should have been put off. And we know there's a lot of stories coming out about UEFA and what was allowed and what they did and what they didn't do. I just think it's going to be Denmark. Sorry, Brad.
No, that's fine, mate. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, I just think, like you say, it's just going to take them through the adrenaline on that, and I think they will. I think they will get stronger now, like I say, because I say that first game just meant nothing. Right, we're into the semis, and we've got Italy will be playing France, England will be playing Denmark, and a quick question: can anybody see Wales at all?
So the only Scotland.
And he's back, Mike. Ha ha ha! England to get to a semi, you'll be out Tuesday. Well, we'll see. But can I just say, if we do go out Tuesday, it's going to be a long weekend for you, because you're going out in about 3.5 hours time, mate. So we will see. Right, Matt. Sorry. We've got Italy, France. Again, another good game.
I'd have to say a kind of shock. Italy to get through. If it happens.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, there's something about the Italians. They can grind out a result. And Mancini's looking like because they've been in some bad places there, haven't they, Brad, recently? And but Mancini's slowly dragging them back up to a good level.
Yeah, obviously, because we did it, and I was on the show when we did it. I backed Belgium all the way, and because this time it's not worked out that Belgium got there, I kind of reevaluate everything again. And the Italian side do have shades of the 06 Italy. Was it 2006 when they won the World Cup? Or was it World Cup Europe? Yeah, it was a World Cup, wasn't it? They won in 2006. Or am I thinking of a different year? When they won it.
I won't argue with you because I don't know, but we'll say mid 2000s.
The headbutt,
the Zidane headbutt. They won it then, and guess what? It's going to be another knockout blow to the French as Italy progress to the final in this scenario.
Well, I've got to be honest with you. Scott actually went for France. That said, I would have gone for Italy. I've just got a sneaky feeling they're my dark horses for this competition. So I think all three of us went Italy, didn't we? Did you go Italy, Matt? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got Italy in the final now. England, Denmark into the semis. Come on, England.
England clearly, mate. Yeah, we beat Denmark easily. Yeah, I do think. I wouldn't even.
That's what I like. Confidence there.
Well, it's better than facing Croatia in the semis. I think we definitely get against Denmark. No offense to the Danish, but yeah.
No. I would fancy us against Denmark, but would you, Brad?
No, if it goes to penalties, because I've seen Casper in goal. I don't fancy us if it goes penalties. This is the one I'm actually worried about going to a penalty shootout. And if it does, I'm worried that we will lose it because Casper is very good at penalties. And Pickford has too short arms to save them, in my opinion. You know, the T-Rex comments come out about him. This is the one I worry about going the distance. But my patriotism shines through maybe over logic on this. I'm going to be honest. I'm not here just to go England are going to win it and go all the way through and win it, because I do think Denmark possess more of a threat than people would realise. And if this is how the tournament unfolds, adrenaline or not, they will want to win it. They will be going, we're here, we can win it now. They will be going at it. And honestly, this is tough for me because, like I said, there's always that fear with England that they get to penalties and everybody puts their head in their hands. I know we beat Colombia last time, but I just fear that if Denmark dig in and see it to 0-0, I know what Casper's capable of in a penalty shootout. This isn't as plain sailing for me. I'm gonna just assume that Scott's gone for England on this. But I don't know because he wouldn't have had it follow through to this, just to go down to you. And I'm guessing both of you
got one for England. What are you going to go for, Brad?
This is tough. Oh, why has this happened? Why have we done this? Can we reverse it? Can we change it all? I changed my mind.
No.
Get someone easier in there, like Wales, just for a laugh.
England,
go on, sorry, England.
Box says England will edge it at Wembley.
I've just got to be honest. You know what I mean? I don't want to just bias it through. I've got to be honest.
I know. I mean, coming from a Welsh fan and is saying that this is so so delusional.
So delusional. Semi-finalists of the last major tournament. Shall we talk about delusions when you're hitting the levels, Mike?
Box. Get in there, Box.
If you were doing your own and you was doing your own prediction shows, and if you've not, you probably have already, you've probably taken Wales 2 steps further than you actually think they're going to go, and that's exactly what they're all, mate. So
yeah, can I just Mike 2016? That's like us saying 1966 all the time. You know, it happened. You had one good tournament, you know, and you're living off that. You're living off that, mate. You know,
it's like I say 1990 every time, because we didn't even win it. Going, we were semi-finalists in the World Cup. Woo! What have you done?
Yes, and to be honest with you, in 2016 we were a great supporter of small countries like Iceland and Wales and what have you. You know,
we were trying to help their economy.
Exactly. And I've got to be honest with you, Mike. Like I say, make the most of it, because you know, with England, of course, it gets a bit boring because we do qualify for 90% of the tournaments. Wales, every now and again they pop up, you know. Because San Marino failed, you know, to turn up, so Wales fill that gap. Right. Yeah. It's the final.
I wonder how many they'll qualify when Gareth Bale retires and goes and picks up golf.
Exactly. So to the final, and it's an Italy-England final. We didn't have this the first time, Brad, but Matt,
no, we didn't.
Who's going to win that?
I'd want England to win, but I think with experience, unfortunately, I think in Italy would be the more dominant, unfortunately. So maybe Italy, like if you put your head on it. I want England to win. That's my team.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those, you know, when Man City played Chelsea in the Champions League final, it was just like Chelsea had been there before. Man City, it was new territory. I kind of feel the same with England, and yeah, it could be an uphill battle.
I mean, it might, hopefully, Matt, be, it should be at Wembley, but of course, you know, it depends if we allow UEFA to break COVID restrictions and send all their big wigs in with no injections. But do you think home advantage would help?
It could do, depending on how many people are there. But I know that there'll be a lot of Italian fans there too, and I don't think it really matters to the Italian team where they play. They're on a high. They've scored a lot of goals. They haven't let in any at the moment. So yeah, it'll be difficult. That could go into extra time if England do very well, but I do think Italy will, unfortunately will dominate.
One for Italy, and I'm torn on this because, of course, big England fan. I live in England, support England all my life, but Italy were my dark horses. But I'm going to reserve my judgment till the end, and I'm going to pass it over to the North Macedonia fan and see which way he's going to go.
I've already said that Italy have got shades of 2006 about them, and doing this a second time round, now we know who got out the groups and how they've done and fared in the groups, and the way we've got them to the final. It's Italy, I'm afraid. It's just Italy. I just don't see. I said it about Belgium when we did this one, when we got them to the final. If they get there, I don't see them losing it. And I'm sorry, I just don't see Italy losing if they get to the final. They have. I remember being a 15-year-old technically at the time when the tournament kicked off in 2006, and I was one of the few of my mates that went, Italy, that side is going to win that competition, and they went on to win it. They beat France in the final. And I've had this gut feeling.
Back in the day, you were good at predictions.
Yeah, back in the day, no North Macedonia used to throw me off. But I just sense shades of that, and they've shown the same sort of style of football and resilience at the back. And if they hold that together throughout the tournament, and that's a continuous pattern, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to say football is genuinely coming home, it's Italy for me.
Well, Scott,
but, we might be being delusional.
Yeah, Scott had a France-England final. So he kind of went a little bit different. He'd chosen France over Italy, but he had France winning. And I've got to be honest with you, if I was making the decision and I had to, I would also, I think, go for Italy because, like I say, they've been my dark horses, and I just think they've got it.
Do you want to know what? Actually, I'll go back to something Matt said earlier in the show when he was talking about Portugal, how they got to a final and they didn't do it, and then they came back and they did it a few years later down the line. That could be something that happens to England. They could get to a final for the first time, and probably lose to Italy or France if they get either of them in the final. I'd still back France to beat England. Don't like saying it, makes me feel a bit ill saying it because the French know how to give up. But I think you would be then more prepared and more expectant on England the next time they meet a final to go and get the job done.
Yeah. Matt, are you a Southgate in or a Southgate out fan?
Southgate out, but I've noticed as well the news recently about the FA going to give him an extension on his contract no matter what happens. So I'm a bit gutted about that because I think if we do lose to Germany, I think we should be looking for a new manager, personally.
But and we've had this conversation before, obviously, Brad, but I'm a Southgate in fan because I think the guy got us to a World Cup semi-final 3 years ago. He got us to a penalty shootout, and I know a lot of people say, yeah, but look who we played. But at the end of the day, you're up against whoever you've drawn. Quick question for you, because as I say, appreciate you've got to go now, Matt. If he gets us that far, if he gets us to the final, would that save it? Would that convince you to keep him? Or would you still want him out? Because he'll then have taken us to a semi-final and a final.
If you progress, to me, you keep. You don't change something that's good if you've got a step further, or do you know what I mean? You get into the semis and you reach penalty shootout in the semis. That's still progression to me. So I wouldn't say that. But I think if he gets knocked out of round 16 or quarters, then that's a step back. And I think we should look forward because we've got a great team, a great squad, and they are still growing. And we've got lots of players that we didn't even bring in to the team, like Greenwood and co, who I believe is going to be exceptional in the future. So Yeah, I see good things. We just need to see progression. So yeah, if he gets knocked out in the rounds.
A very quick one or two word answer from you before we let you go. Okay, you said Southgate out. Who would you replace him with?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't want him to be there, but I see someone sniffing around for the England job. Jose Mourinho seems to be sniffing around for that, don't you think? He's always said about really wanting to be the England manager. I'm not sure whether that would be a good thing, and I'm not sure whether he'd want to do the Portuguese job first, but I can actually see him sometime in the future possibly being the England manager. But who would I want to be the England manager? Sir Alex Ferguson. Come on. I'd love to see him do it.
No disrespect to him, and I don't mean this because I actually watched the Alex Ferguson film on Netflix, and I've got to be honest with you, respect to the guy. You know, you do see another side to him that you don't see as, you know, as supporters of other clubs. So total respect to Alex Ferguson. But my God, he'll be the oldest manager in English history, won't he? And you can't have a Scot managing England. I'm sorry, that is just a no. And on that note, I think you should go.
Hang on, but what about an English manager? What about I was going to say Harry Redknapp or something like that.
I just think, yeah, the days, and this is my problem, is that if we do go, Southgate does go, is who replaces him. But it's another show, another day, and we could be talking for 4 hours on that one. Matt, thank you, sir. Who's the manager of North Macedonia? Get him in. Matt, thank you so much. Give your channels a quick shout out again.
I just want to say, really nice to meet you both as well, and
you, yeah.
Thank you so much for having us on. Matt from Football United TV, go check us out and go subscribe to this channel as well. Leicester Till I Die, brilliant channel, mate. You're doing excellent things. But yeah, Football United TV on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Go check us out, follow, share, like, and thank you so much for having us on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. We will look back in this and see how well we do after the round of 16 on Wednesday. And you might get a bit of abuse if we've not done very well. Exactly. Appreciate you got to go, mate. Thanks very much for coming on. Take care and stay safe.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. So, Brad, I know you're a Southgate out, aren't you?
I am, but now I've had time to think about it. A lot of people have sat there and gone, "Oh, the Italians have not conceded a goal, and you know they've done this and they've done that." And then before the show, I decided to do a bit of research and actually looked at certain teams that have won these tournaments, and the points were made today by all three of us at some point, where these teams that have won tournaments or go on to win tournaments, they don't always do it in flair like you're expecting. Whether you like the way Southgate plays football or not, if it continues in the manner that it is, you're still yet to see him concede a goal. People can be up their own rear end just because we're a better nation than them, about our delusions or whatever, but that's up to them. That's their prerogative. They don't support England, and that's fair. We're vice versa. It's polar opposites. It's exactly what it is. Yeah. But I would say that if he can continue that mantra and England keep shutting sides out and keep nicking, well, I don't care if we win 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Guess what that does? No. That wins you the tournament. And if you can get, all right, if we get knocked out by a France, fair enough. If we get knocked out by an Italy, fair enough. If we get knocked out by a team that caliber, I can take it. You know, it's not nice. It's not going to be nice. Yeah. I would be disappointed if we lost to the Germans because, like I said, they were 6 minutes away from.
But going back to the question, who would you have in his place? Would you keep him or would you let him go?
I would say if he keeps the mantra, gets us past Germany, and like I said, if we get knocked out and it's by Italy, France, I'll forgive him. I'll let him off because I would say fair play. You did the right thing. You tried to match the Italians and teams before. Solid defence. If you can't breach us, you can't beat us.
I need the buzzer back, Matt. Don't
Sorry, mate. I will. I would keep Southgate I would keep Southgate if this keep them out. You can't beat us technique works.
Let's just remember where we were sort of 5, 6, 7 years ago. Was it in Brazil? We were bottom of the group. We couldn't beat Costa Rica, but you know,
we were doing a Scotland cheering a draw.
Yeah, I know. That was how we'd come down to Scotland's level. Brad, thank you very much, mate. It's been a pleasure having you on, and I'll see you on Tuesday for the post-match show. Let's hope we're stuffing the Germans. But like the son said the other day, here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again. Yeah, definitely.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
No worries. Take care, mate.
Bye-bye. Right, let's be back after this.
It's the Euros 2020 with Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV.
So it all kicks off this afternoon at 5:00. And here are the games. Wales-Denmark is going to be this afternoon. That is followed at, let's just get them all up here, at 8:00, Italy-Austria. Tomorrow at 5:00, Netherlands, the Czech Republic. 8:00 is Belgium-Portugal. Monday, the early game is Croatia-Spain. The later game is France-Switzerland. And then the only match that really matters, England-Germany, Tuesday, 5:00. Got my son coming round, got the beers in the fridge. And that's followed by Sweden-Ukraine. It's getting to the business end, isn't it? We're going to be back, like I say, on Tuesday, we'll be back at 7:15 doing the post-match show. But we will be back on Monday, and we're going to be giving the 5 best Leicester City signings. A different Matt will be joining me for that one, not the Man United one, so you're okay. And we are going to be picking who the best Leicester City signings. Cambiasso, Vardy, Albrighton, Gordon Banks. Be interesting. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you Monday, and you might see me pop up maybe on the Odd Welsh channel if Denmark win. Guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks to Box. Thanks to Rich. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to everybody else that came on. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you Monday night. Good night.
Hello,
stay safe.
Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.